Alright, this is my Google Classroom for my fifth period. I'm going to swap to my first period class. This is my stream, and if there's anything that I would like to put on there to tell my students, I will put it on. Classwork side, I have it broken down in days. And so if this is your first day, you would click on the tab and you would read the message that is there. I will not insult your intelligence. And so what you would do is click on, and it is a Google slide presentation, and you would basically go to present so that you can maximize the screen and see what you need to do. Alright, it's taking a while because the internet is a bit slow. But when I maximize the screen, you will see my information up there first. U.S. Government Term 1, and this is for my first period class. Alright, I will click next. If this was your first day, you would be trying to indicate whether you're a new student. I know this is prohibiting you from seeing that a little bit, or a returning student. Most of you are returning student, and so you would click there. They have a message, and on every message, after you read it, you will continue down the slide. Just basic classroom rules to respect yourself, respect your peers, and respect your teacher. Alright, after you're done, of course, you would click, and you would choose, because I have 2 government classes this term, you would be first period, you would click on it. It will take you to a Google form, and you would have to go back to Google Classroom after you've gotten it done. As you see, if there's an asterisk by it, of course, that is a required field. I would like you to fill out all the fields, regardless of if it is required or not. So a telephone number, of course, tell me what period you're taking me. And then the type of device that you are using at home. All right. And it's self-explanatory from that point. If you're traditional, which means you're meeting me face-to-face, you can click here. If you're virtual with support, that means that you log in every day, Monday through Thursday, at the time of your assigned class. And if you're independent online, you're pretty much doing your work without the assistance of the teacher. Now, if you are independent, you would still need to check Google Classroom because some of your assignments are there. Make sure that you have your parent or guardian's name, telephone number, your grade level, and there are just a few questions that you need to answer about your strength. This helps me to determine what your skill level is and how to cater to you in the lesson. Just an honest question about what your last social studies grade was. If you are in psychology, just put your social science class that you just had. If you are in government, of course, the last class you would have had was U.S. History 1. That is in the 11th grade. And then you're just basically going to tell me your concern about this school year. After you do that, submit. That may be closed, and you would go back to the slide. And so after that point, you will have your Zoom meeting daily. But of course, that Zoom meeting is over, and that is why I'm doing this, and that is the end of that slide. All right. So now, in Google Classroom, as you see, everything is broken down by days. This is day 2, and so every day we pretty much start out with a Zoom meeting, and you would click the link, and it will start the meeting. As you see, you have a point assignment for when you come in. So every day that you miss that 25-point assignment for Zoom. The next thing you will see, for some reason I see this is day 2. I have another Zoom meet day 2. I'm not sure why that's on there. Alright. But moving on to day 3, you have your Zoom entry. You get your points for that. As you see, everybody didn't earn. You have an overview of what's going to take place, and it is also a Google slide. So you would click on that, and you would go through the slide based on when you take my class. And so I am going to do the 5th period because the 1st and 5th period are the same in terms of the subject. And I'm going to hit present. As you did on day 1, you would go through each slide and you would indicate what course, what route you're taking, and you're going to go all the way through it. So even though this is my portal for 1st period, I would still click. I asked them if this is your 1st, 2nd, or 3rd day. So I will treat you as if this is your 1st day because it's going to automatically take you to the 2nd and 3rd day lesson. And so you have your welcome message. You have your classroom rules that were present last time. And you would tell me which course are you taking. My 1st and 5th, again, are government. My 3rd period is psychology. So I'm going to click on my 5th period. When I do that, it's going to take me to the Google form because that was the first day. If you've already done it, of course, you know that it's done. Now, after I've done that, if I am if I am third period, which is psychology, it will take me to the same form. After I'm complete, it says click after you have completed the Google form, and you go to the next slide. That will take you to the second day. When you go to the second day, of course, you will click it, and when you click it, it's going to tell you to check your Dallas K-12 email. When you check that, you will see that I sent your Acellus ID and passcode in there. Second thing you would do is go into Acellus, and you would use that student login ID and passcode to get in. Now, just for an example, so I will show it to you, mine is already signed in, but this will be the student side. And so you put the ID here and the password here. And again, I sent that to your email. After you've done that, you would click on the last step and you would go to the next slide. And it's just encouraging you to keep going because you're in the 5th period class, all right, or the 1st period class, you click here. If you're not in the 3rd period psychology class, you click there. So we're clicking on that. It was just basically a go home message and stay safe and then enjoy your day. Now, after that point, the slide is over because that was the last slide. Now, if by happenstance you were here and it was your 3rd day, I'm going to show you what it would have shown you. 3rd day basically was showing you the lesson for that day. What we did, we just had an admit slip. If you would look in day 3 of Google Classroom, and we're going to show you that, you will see that in. Then we did a lecture on how you do current event. And then we just did a few lessons in Acellus. Afterwards, of course, you would click on it. You have your stay safe message, and that was the end of the slide. Now, if you came in on the 2nd day and you chose that as your option, it would take you to that same screen. So I just wanted to show that to you. After you're done with everything, you click in, all right, and you would keep going on the slide and get the message. After you get through each day with the lesson, you will go back, of course, to your Google platform. The admit slip is here, and what it was an admit slip on the definition for 1st and 5th period of government, what you thought it meant, and what you would do, of course, is keep it in Google Docs. As it comes up and you see this is my class 1st period, how you would type in is you would left click on the mouse until the portal opens up. When it opens up, you will see the question, and you would click in it until you're able to type in the bottom. And so as you see, that gives you range and space to type your answer. After you're through with that, you would click Save and Close. You would share your document so that you can link it back to your Google Classroom. And you would click Copy Link, and you would go back to Google Classroom. And the spot where it says Turn it in, I think it says to add. You would add it in, you would click on link, and you would hit turn in twice. The second thing we have on there is another Google, basically making Google Docs.
And welcome
You're
to
just
the
going to watch that.
The first, and then you're going to go to
show you how you make a copy because some people did that and then they used the little turn in side. Now, current event overview, as you see, they have 2 attachments. I'm going to open up both attachments. They will open up in Google Classroom. The first attachment is just basically how I grade you and what I grade you on. All right. So your first category is format. Second one is heading and header. Third one is definition. Fourth is submission. MLA style is 5 and submission is 6. And so each one of these come with the corresponding number and letter, and it will tell you what you did or did not do. So if it deals with your heading and header in your current event, you will find it in category 2. If it deals with the rules of MLA that was broken, like you did not put it in the right font, you would go over to General Rule MLA, and that's number 5. Second document, of course, is the non-negotiables for the current events. It's pretty much the MLA style telling you what you need to do. This one is just about cheating, make sure it's not plagiarized. And you have some links to tell you or explain to you what plagiarism is. You have one to show you how to spell check and grammar check in Google Docs, one in Microsoft Office. All of your current event submissions will be in Google Docs, but sometimes people type it in Microsoft Office just as an extra check. This is the link that you need to click on so that you can see what MLA style looks like. And so as you see, the video will play.
The Modern Language Association helps students
And I am
write
going to
papers that are simple
close
for
this
other
because
students.
I already have it open. And I'll forward it to the 2-minute 48-second spot. This is your header. It will be your last name and that number is indicated. This is your heading, and perhaps I should maximize it. The heading includes your name, the professor name, you will put Mr. Curtis Bell, the subject, U.S. government, and then on the date, as you notice, the day is first, the month, and then the year. This is the title. I will give you your title for current events each week. As you notice, everything is double spaced, and in between the double space, there are no spaces between paragraphs. You are left justified, and again, there are 1-inch margins on each side and at the top. There's an easy way to do this, and I will show it to you. So make sure you go through and watch the video. Now, going back to the current events, basically, when you're doing your current event, there is an easy way to do it. I'm going to open up another one just as a sidebar to show you how to do it. When you click in Google Docs, there is an MLA style report format already there, and you would just need to click into it and kind of see how the format is laid and change the information out. So as you notice, the first thing when it opened up, you will see report. Here, you would change it, and you would place your name in it. And in my case, I would be Curtis Bell, but you would put your name here. All right. And, of course, those dialogues will open up. Remember, it has to be your first and your last name. And you're going to put the current event it is. You can put it in before or afterwards. All right. And so if you were working on current event 4, you would put current event 4 and a colon and just keep your name in there. In order to place your name in the format, remember on the video for YouTube, you would click this until you get your name or the cursor here. My last name is Bell, and I would put a space, and you would do the same. You would put your first and last name here. You would put Mr. Curtis Bell here. You would put U.S. government here. And for instance, today is September the 17th, 2020. You would put the 17 here. You would put the month, which is September, and you would just change this for 2020. If you are working on current event 1, your title would be current event 1 and the name of the current event. Of course, as you see, this looks like some gibberish. You would start it out whichever way I tell you to start the current event out. And that's pretty much current event. Your last page is going to be works cited. So when you start erasing, leave this. Go ahead and delete that out. Leave this. You see that the number of the pages are consecutive. All right, and that's Google Docs. So I'm going to click out of that. Read your non-negotiables. Make sure that you do it right. I can show you some of the current events for government. The first one is going to be on the types of government. If I wanted to find it, of course, I would basically type it in the box, and this is how you can find some of your document. I have a document called Current Event Ideas that I keep as the teacher. Most of the time I post it and I give it to you so that you'll know what you're doing ahead of time. So the first one that you would have it entitled, that title would have been Current Event 1 Forms of Government. It tells you to title it, the heading and header, what to do. Of course, this is 4. I have no idea why I have a 4 there, but it should have been 1. All right. I'm going to place that colon back there in my space. So for this one, when you start doing your current event, you would do this, you get 5 points for it. The next thing you will do, it tells you to define representative democracy and another form of government. And then you do it in your own words. You will get 5 points for it. Then you have the body, and it tells you what to do. You get 10 points. And then under the works cited link at the bottom, you would basically put what article you pulled it from. There's a total for current events for 25 points, and these are those same documents that I showed you earlier. So I'm back to Google Classroom, and that completes day 1 to day 3. This is what you have to do. Make sure that you turn it in. If you have any issues, please make sure that your teacher knows.